not sure whether or not Penelope recognizes Odysseus. Whether she does or not, she comes and stands before all of the suitors. She is cloaked in beauty by the hand of Athena, who borrows beauty from Aphrodite so that all of the suitors will lust over her. Also, so Odysseus, when he sees his wife for the first time after 20 years, will see how lovely she is. We'll see that she is worth coming home for. Not only is she wise, not only is she loyal and steadfast, but here she appears beautiful to him, almost as though her inner light is being brought to the external by Athena's handiwork. As she stands here, it seems as though she does know Odysseus is in the crowd. For why else does she give a speech that she does? She tells about Odysseus in the first time that he left, when he left for Ithaca 20 years ago, and she recounts the words exactly, showing that she remembers him, showing that she misses him, showing that she is still loyal, and that she is still going to follow his direction, even if his direction was to remarry. In this great illustration done by Neil Packer, it's an illustrated version with Gillian Cross writing the prose as though it's for children, but the illustrations are lovely. I highly recommend it. Penelope, here you see her holding Telemachus as a newborn. The young, strapping Odysseus is taking off for war, and Penelope recalls his words to her. Now, wife, I do not think we armored Greeks will all come home unharmed from Troy. When our son's beard has grown, you must get married to any man you choose and leave your house. The time has come, she says. The time has come because Telemachus probably has a beard, probably is a grown man of 20. And so she says, it is time for me to get married. She asks that her suitors stop eating all of her food and taking all of her things and instead give gifts in return. Because they are all excited by the beauty that is before them, thank you, Aphrodite, they all say, this is exactly right, we should be giving you gifts, and begins to give gifts to them. What's interesting is that Odysseus is in this audience, and even though he has not spoken with Penelope, it says that he was happy she was securing gifts from the suitors, even though she had other thoughts on her mind. So here we have both Odysseus and Penelope have this shared ability to present one thing to their audience and to be thinking another. The ability to manipulate and deceive one's audience and who gets the better of each other. So if both of them have this ability, how do they ever know each other's true thoughts? And yet it seems like he does. It seems like he is able to see through her rhetoric for what she's actually intending and what she's meaning. We have a shared similarity between the husband and wife, a bond that they share against all others, that goes against every other audience they've had. When Odysseus has spoken with Calypso, he had to say one thing while meaning another. To Nausicaa, he had to say one thing while meaning another. To Circe, to say one thing while meaning another. And yet Penelope would be the one who always knows what that other thing really is, in the same way that she is saying one thing and Odysseus knows what the other thing really is. She approaches him that evening and sits by a fire. She's sitting on a throne. Her servant girls are around. The danger is not all away. They are not completely intimate. You have Melantho, who we already know is a treacherous servant, who is nearby, who has already tried to send the beggar away, and Penelope has said, no, let him stay. It is my wish, and I'm in charge of the castle here. And and I'm in charge of the palace here, so you need to go away. But she doesn't, and so Odysseus and Penelope very much watch their words, especially if Penelope does know, and we're not sure whether she does. She asks the guest, now that you've been fed, can you tell me who you are? And he refuses, and she demands again, tell me who you are, and he refuses. And then she offers to give him a bath. He says, no, but let some old woman who has suffered as much as I have suffered wash my feet. And she says, oh, how right you are. You are good with your words. And then she speaks to Eurycleia. Eurycleia, we know, was Odysseus' nurse. This is a famous episode, book 19, in which Penelope says, get up now, Eurycleia, and wash your master's, and it should say feet, as though Odysseus is the master. But instead, Penelope changes her word, or seems to. Get up now, Eurycleia, wash your master's age mate. Right? Wash this peer of your master. By now, Odysseus himself must have old wrinkled feet and hands like these. We mortals grow old fast in times of trouble. And so remember, Athena has aged him beyond his years. She has wrinkled him more than he actually is wrinkled. She has in fact made him bald. This Greek classical illustration here makes him look like he still has hair, but we know that it says that he seems to be bald at this point because of Athena's handiwork. And we get to hear the story of recognition, the story of when Odysseus was named. This is probably one of the most beautiful moments of recognition in the Odyssey. We've already seen him be recognized by Argos the dog. We have seen him revealed himself to Telemachus. And now here, Eurycleia, his handmaid, Odysseus has a premonition that she will touch his scar, that she will know him instantly. And of course she does. She touches the scar, and then we have information that's not really a flashback, but we are told about how the scar came to be, as though it is happening right then in that moment. Eric Auerbach has a phenomenal essay called Odysseus' Scar that everyone should read about this episode in particular. We're given the information as though it is occurring in that same moment when Eurycleia is touching the scar, as though no time has been lost between the scar happening and Eurycleia touching the scar. And the scar was made by a boar when Odysseus went to his grandfather's place and they hunted for this boar, and he was able to kill the boar, but not before the boar tore into his leg and left him a permanent scar. And the scar plus the naming episode show Odysseus's true identity. He is the one who causes pain. As his grandfather Autoclus says, he is the one who shows people dislike Autoclus and Autoclus dislikes people. And he is the one who causes pain and makes people suffer as well as making himself suffer. He is the suffering one, right? That is Odysseus's name, the one to be hated and to be hating other people, the one to be wounded by a boar and to be the one giving the wound. He kills the boar. So his whole identity is wrapped up in this moment of revelation of his name, of who he really is, of who he ever was before Troy, and now who he is after Troy. And the moment is too much for Eurycleia. Joy and grief seize her. She drops the foot into the basin of water. The water splashes. She cries out, "You are my own Odysseus." And he has no sympathy for this because he's afraid she's going to get him killed, and grabs her by the throat and says, "Hush, woman, like I will kill you too if you don't hush, because we will all die if you tell who I am right now." And Athena has made Penelope face away. If Penelope does not know, it makes sense that Athena makes her face away so that she doesn't find out that this is Odysseus. If she does know, then she might have wanted confirmation that this was Odysseus by having Eurycleia wash his feet. But the recognition would have been too much for her, and she too might have given the game away had she been looking at Eurycleia and had their eyes met at that moment. So either, if Penelope knows or does not know, Athena needs to turn Penelope away so that they can keep the ruse or keep Penelope blind from finding out this truly is Odysseus. The game is on. Everyone who needs to know pretty much at this point knows. Odysseus will reveal himself to two more of his loyal servants, as we will see, and eventually will reveal himself to his wife, but not before he has to kill the suitors.